On this episode of Cape Media News, Cape High School students get a civics lesson, Cape Cod Young Professionals celebrate back to business, cranberry farmers prepare for harvest, and we take you inside the Cape Cod Roller Derby. These stories and more. This is Cape Media News. Welcome to Cape Media News, your local authentic newscast for Cape Cod. I'm Sarah Colvin. Thank you so much for tuning in. A new name for a South Coast Hospital's pediatric unit. St. Luke's in New Bedford this week dedicated its inpatient pediatric unit, the K-9 Sergeant Sean McNamee Gannon Pediatric Unit, to honor the life and contributions of the officer who lost his life on April 12th. During the private dedication held on Tuesday, South Coast CEO Keith Hoven and the Gannon family unveiled a 17-foot-long installation that includes photos of Sean's life and an inscription that reads, "Sergeant Sean Gannon leaves a legacy of virtue, valor, and kindness throughout his public service. He inspires us all through his example to be our best selves on behalf of others. His legacy lives on through every good deed done and kind gesture provided, making a positive difference in our community." In addition, South Coast Health donated $25,000 to the Sergeant Sean M. Gannon Playground Committee to build a playground at Campbell Elementary School. Sergeant Gannon grew up in New Bedford and often played on the school's grounds. After leading the Cape Cod Commission in an interim capacity for the last 8 months, Christy Senatori is now the organization's official executive director. This week, Barnstable County Commissioners unanimously approved her appointment. Senatori took the role of acting director after longtime leader Paul Ninswicki resigned back in February. She's been with the commission since 2008 and was promoted to deputy director in 2012. Election season is underway. Young Cape Codders heading to the ballot box for the first time may be a little more prepared following a forum held this morning at Barnstable High School. 200 Cape Cod High School seniors learned a lesson in civic engagement this morning at Barnstable High School. In an event sponsored by the JFK Hyannis Museum and the Cape Cod Young Professionals, students had a chance to listen and talk with local elected officials and candidates. The goal? Boost civic engagement and prepare youth for the vote.
The Barnstable Public Schools has a strategic objective of our whole school system to have good strategic partnerships and to increase civic engagement. Young people learning about the democratic process, interacting with folks who are leaders, folks who are hoping to become leaders, and understanding the thoughtful ideas behind democracy.
The opportunity today to take civic engagement and bring it to the young people is, I think, going to make a huge difference, because what we're doing is setting a platform where they can come in and get a better understanding of what civic engagement is about from, in this case, local elections.
In her keynote address, Congresswoman Nikki Songus spoke to the importance of civic engagement.
It really does tell you the extraordinary opportunities any of us who are fortunate to be elected to office have to make in the lives of those we represent. So yes, as it's so often characterized as wanting to achieve power for its own sake, it's really about wanting to have the opportunity to exercise that hard-earned authority to better the lives of the people we represent.
Barnstable students taking Steve Moynihan's elective government course learn the basics and have a chance to thoughtfully discuss current events.
We're learning a lot from our good friend, Mr. Moynihan, second year in his class.
We both take AP government, so
yes,
trying to learn more.
Eager to learn.
We look at the Constitution, we look at our unique system of federalism, and then we explore the branches or institutions of government, and then we get into the political participation end. So how do campaigns and elections work? What are interest groups and what roles do they play? What are some of the big policy issues that our country is facing today and has faced in the past? And there's so much going on that they come to class with questions, and it's a great venue to discuss.
CCYP CEO Lauren Barker says events like these are a big part of her organization's mission.
Cape Cod Young Professionals, one of our biggest focus areas is civic engagement and getting our young people involved in the local decision-making process. So what I hope that we would get out of this event is to inspire them to take action, to help them find the courage to speak up and have their voices heard, because that's often the first and the hardest step, is to understand that what you have to say is worth hearing and that people want to hear from you.
And the students, many of them voting age, are ready to learn more and take an active role.
Today I'm really looking forward to learning a lot about the candidates, and I hope that everybody else who's in AP Gov can learn a lot and take a lot from this experience today.
We're here to learn about local politics, and we're excited to be a part of this event.
Well, one, I think that I'll learn something new, and we'll see if the senator in Centerville will be a good one, and when I grow older, I'll hopefully vote for him.
I am hoping to become a more informed voter when I become a voter this March, when my birthday is. And I will turn 18, and then I will become a more informed voter. I'd like to learn about the candidates because I feel like an uninformed vote is just as dangerous as not voting at all.
I'm a senior intern at Barnstable High School, and I intern for Senator Julian's here. I do a lot of constituent services and stuff like that. So today we're seeing representatives from the House of Representatives, the Senate, I believe the Congress. A lot of them, because it's an election year, they're all up there presenting. They're showing how important they are to the Cape Cod community itself and what they represent, hopefully gain them some points in this year's upcoming election.
CCYP's CEO issued a challenge to the students.
I want you to think of a question or a concern, something that you're facing as a young person on Cape Cod. And I look around the room and I see a lot of bright faces. I know you have ideas. I want you to think about those issues and what your big idea is to resolve them. And then I want you to dig down deep, find the courage, and reach out to somebody and share it with them. Find your voice and speak up. Because when we do that, when we find the courage to speak and talk about our own experiences, really powerful, amazing things can happen.
The event was held Friday, September 21st at Barnstable High School. Barnstable High School interns Kayla Jorgensen and Destiny Foley contributed to this report. For Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin. And again, thanks to our new interns Destiny Foley and Kayla Jorgensen for their help on that story. We'll see much more of them in the coming months. Coming up next, back to business with the Cape Cod Young Professionals.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
For more than a decade, the Cape Cod Young Professionals have been gathering in September for the Back to Business Bash, the annual event that celebrates local business on Cape Cod. Gabrielle Rawson reports.
The Cape Cod Young Professionals celebrated the community at last night's Back to Business Bash.
The Back to Business Bash is the biggest event of the year for CCYP. A lot of work leads up to this. We have a tremendous group of volunteers and committee members that put in tons of hours planning and executing this event. The Back to Business Bash features food and drink vendors from across the Cape. We have a ton of restaurants and beverage vendors represented, but we also have a lot of local businesses and sponsors and supporters of CCYP that are exhibiting here tonight. It really runs the full spectrum of all industries, all age groups, all levels of experience, and we're just so excited to welcome the Cape workforce community.
The event was held for the third year in a row at the Barnstable Municipal Airport in Hyannis.
This is the third year that we've done it. We love it. We love having the CCYP here, but what it does, one, it fills our terminal with glee and happy people, and a good party is always a good party. But more importantly, it introduces the young professionals and the rest of our community to the airport, and a lot of people don't realize what's here.
The event provides an opportunity for the organization partners to discuss their shared mission.
You know, we work really hard through our programs to create opportunities for people to live, work, and thrive on the Lower Cape, and that's really consistent with CCYP's mission as well. And that in order for a community to be sustainable, it's got to have a next generation of young people and young leaders and young business owners and residents. And so all of the programs that we offer really support the next generation of Cape Codders to make sure that we've got a diverse community and a strong workforce and can remain the vibrant community that the Cape has been for so long.
We are a nonprofit, so all of our proceeds from the race go back into the town, back into the community. We are sponsors of Cape Cod Young Professionals. We love their mission and we love their program. We participated in some of their other events, and you know, we just really love what they do, and we wanted to come and to support them, and also to just you know, network with some of the young professionals that are around.
We've recently rebranded. Some people maybe refer to us in prior years as Career Opportunities, but now we're known as Mass Hire. And so we work with a lot of CCYP members, helping them with resumes and interviewing, getting ready for that next job. We help people find jobs, and we help employers find good people.
One of the goals of CCYP is to encourage young entrepreneurs.
So I'm a member of Cape Cod Young Professionals. I'm here tabling with E4All. I just completed their Summer Accelerator South Coast program. So they're like a business boot camp. They bring you through a 12-week program. They match you with 3 mentors. You get to meet with them once a week for business advice and troubleshooting, and it's a really amazing program. I'm still working on getting my business up and running and growing and expanding. So once I get through that, I will absolutely stay involved with E4All. It was an amazing experience, and it was invaluable.
I think it's events like this that allow us to make the Cape more attractive to young people, to see what's going on here, that really there's more than meets the eye. There's more than people might realize going on for young people and young professionals that might want to move here and live here and work here. So we're really happy to send that message out to the Cape and beyond, that if you're a young person and you love Cape Cod, there's opportunity for you here.
To learn more, visit capecodyungprofessionals.org. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
Well, the bogs are beginning to redden, which means the annual cranberry harvest isn't too terribly far away. I visited cranberry farmer Dave Ross at the Little Scoop Cranberry Farm in Chatham to, well, get the scoop on this year's harvest.
My name is Dave Ross. This farm is called Little Scoop Cranberry here in Chatham, and this one has about 10 acres of cranberries in 3 different bogs. 3 different varieties that we grow here.
Dave Ross began growing cranberries on Cape Cod in 1986, but this bog in Chatham was there long before.
This bog's probably at least 100 years old. And this was all done probably by hand. There was a big boom in cranberry bog building in the 1830s and 40s. The Cape, there was like almost a cranberry mania. This one is planted, I joke about now, what you would call an heirloom variety, that this is an old-fashioned variety that was selected because it was a long-keeping variety.
There's a reason that cranberries and Cape Cod go together so well. Our climate is ideal for growing this native plant.
They like what Cape Cod has. They started here and it's a native plant here, so they like a moderate climate. I would make my son laugh about my Goldilocks theory, that this is where it's just right.
Cranberries grow best when summers are hot, but not too hot, and winters are cold, but not too cold. This summer's warm spell in late July and early August made extra work for local growers.
This year, it was challenging for a lot of us because we had 3 very hot weeks in the end of July and early August, and the challenge for us was keeping up with the irrigation needs because we had really no rain, and the cranberries, whether it comes out of the sky or out of the sprinklers, need an inch of water every week.
Another challenge for the growers is the market. The price per barrel last year was less than the cost of production, and some farmers are being asked to hold back 25% of their crop to bring prices back up.
The price has not been good. It's been going down for the last few years. It's put a lot of pressure on the farmers that Cranberries, the business produces a lot of money for a lot of people, but the farmers get paid last, basically. And there is no Chicago Board of Trade. We can't sell futures. We basically give the cranberries to the buyers on consignment, and they pay us what's, over the course of a year.
When it's harvest time, the cranberries will be trucked off to wholesalers and made into juice, sauce, sweetened dried cranberries, or packaged whole.
Even though people love farmers markets and buying local, the reality is that on a farm, even a small farm like this, 10 acres here in Chatham, we'll grow 100,000 pounds of fruit plus here. And we can't sell 100,000 pounds at a farmer's market 1 pound at a time. So we grow 500,000 pounds plus of fruit every year on the farm, and so we are very dependent on wholesale buyers. That Ocean Spray is a growers cooperative. I sell some of my fruit to them, and then I also sell to 2 independents.
Right now, Ross and other cranberry farmers are getting ready for harvest at the end of October.
Well, we're just mostly finishing up mowing, getting the mowing done, getting the equipment ready, flagging the bogs. We have to mark the bogs out with flags so we can see where we're going when it's flooded. We just have to get everything all prepared, make sure the pumps are all ready to go, the trucks are ready to haul the berries. So we're really just, it's like preparing for the holidays or something like that. We're just getting ready.
And after 32 years, Ross still finds the job rewarding.
Being outside in nature, I like growing the crop. I just enjoy the sense of accomplishment when you do grow the crop and when you pick it and load the truck. Year to year, there's different challenges. It's different. The money has never been good, but we've had fun doing it.
This year's harvest will begin in late October. For Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin. And we'll head back out to the bogs at harvest time to bring you some of those iconic Cape Cod harvest pictures. Up next, let's skate with the Cape Cod Roller Derby.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
The season may be over, but it's time for some new recruits. The Cape Cod Roller Derby is bigger and better than ever, and they're looking for fresh meat and young blood. Gabrielle Rawson reports.
In a world dominated by male-driven sports, roller derby is changing the game, one woman at a time. On Cape Cod, there's only one league to beat, a group of gals known as the Salty Dolls.
This is a group of women that I would never have known otherwise. We come from all different walks. So there are stay-at-home moms, there are professionals, there are nurses, there are other paramedics. We come together and somehow we just meld into this one unit and this one team.
There are a lot of moms here, and it's really inspiring to have teammates who are moms.
This is a unique environment because everyone here is so strong and so different, and we all bring an amazing skill set, and here, when you put on a helmet, we're all the same.
Like other high-impact athletics, roller derby is a contact sport.
So roller derby is basically a sport where you've got 2 teams on the court one time, and the game is broken up into jams. You've got 5 girls on each team on the court at one time. You've got 1 jammer per team and 4 blockers per team. The jammer's job is to get through all the blockers. Every pair of hips of the blocker on the opposite team that she passes, she gets their point.
To win the game, players must rely on teamwork, but it also uncovers their individual strength.
I mean, it's all about teamwork, but it's also about pushing your own limits personally to see and challenge yourself on the track to say, I can go for those big hits, or I can stop that jammer, or I can break through that big wall of blockers.
It's a personal challenge every time I walk in here, and that means mentally, physically.
It's empowering and confidence building.
The Salty Dolls want to share this confidence with Cape Cod's youth.
The only way to get a sport like this amazing to keep going is to teach the children. So